Hi, this is Mrs. Basin. Today we're going to talk about Heterogeneous Equilibrium, which is section 15.3. So what we're going to look at now is how to set up an equilibrium expression when you have reactants and products that are not all aqueous. So when you have an equilibrium system where the reactants and products are present in the same phase, that's called homogeneous equilibrium. So all of the ones we've looked at up to this point are all homogeneous. They've all been aqueous or they've all been gases. If you have equilibria in which one or more reactants are present in a different phase, we call that heterogeneous equilibrium. You have to be careful with these because if you have a pure solid or a pure liquid, so something that's notated with an S or an L, those are not included in the equilibrium expression because those concentrations don't change under different conditions. So if you have a pure solid or a pure liquid, the concentration of that is always the same. If you have a gas or if you have something that is aqueous, those concentrations can change, which is why they're included in the equilibrium expression. So let's look at some examples. This says to write the equilibrium constant expression Kc and Kp for both of these. So we're also going to look at how you would notate the Kp's differently. So for this one, Kc, we would look at what different states we have here. So H2O is a liquid, so that's not going to be included in our expression. So what we'll do is we'll take CO over CO2 and H2. Okay, so just like we did before, only difference here is we're watching out for solids and liquids. The liquid would not be included. If we were going to set this up as a Kp, then all we would do would be we would use capital P and then use whatever the substance is as the subscript. So the pressure of CO over the pressure of CO2 to the pressure of H2. Now if there were coefficients, we would raise those P's to whatever the pressure was. Okay, next one, Kc equals CO, this should actually be CO2 here. CO2 raised to the second, Sn is not included because it's a solid, over CO raised to the second. So there's a typo here. This should be a CO2 over on this side. This is also not included because it's a solid. If we're going to represent that as a Kp, we would put P to the second of CO2 over P to the second of CO. And again, these are not included because those are solids. Last expression, Kc, H2 to the fourth, not including that because it's a solid, over H2O to the fourth, not including that because it's a solid. Same deal, set up Kp, and again, Kp and Kc, these are just different ways to write the expression. It doesn't matter which one you use unless the question is specifically asking for one versus the other. So for this one, I would do P to the fourth, because that's the coefficient here, and then subscript would be H2 because that's the substance, over P to the fourth of H2O.